tonight. Put it down in the comments. No. Hey there, thanks so much for clicking on our video. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Ashley, and we are the hosts of Bible and Banter.
Bible and Banter is a space for real conversation through the lens of faith.
We hope to be a reminder that we serve a good God
who left us a living word
to tackle all that life throws our way.
Hey, so let's get into the video. Into today's video, we are going to be talking about what we learned from our worst breakups. So settle in, guys. We know this is a tough one. Breakups.
Grab your wine. I don't know.
Man,
listen, we
if you're
usually
of
release
age,
at 11 a.m. Grab your mimosa, whatever it is.
Courage, and we know that, especially during a breakup, whether you just broke up or maybe it's a little bit, it's been a while since you broke up with that person, but you're still kind of hurt like it did just happen. We get it. And it's okay. So we're going to be talking about what we learned from our breakups and what has kind of helped us to heal in that journey. I'd say one of the biggest things that I took away from one of my harder breakups is just learning how to be content on my own. I think that in a lot of ways I did pressure that person into being my all in all. You know how a lot of people are like, oh, that person completes me, when I had to learn that that's just not the case. It shouldn't be the case. I mean, it shouldn't be the case. No human being is ever going to be able to complete you, because that's just you're trying to put them in a Jesus size piece, like a puzzle piece, and they'll never fit, unfortunately.
The goal is to walk into the relationship already whole.
Exactly. I definitely was not that in that version of myself. So it was really tough for me to accept that it was over, because I'm like, dang, when this person leaves, now I'm not. Like, now I'll never be happy, or I'll never find someone who is this, that, and the third. So it was really hard to, I think, accept, because it made me have to step into who I was, and at the time I didn't know who that was. So it's always ideal to find yourself, but then when you're not in a position where you want to find yourself, or you thought you were happy with the self that was with that person, and now you don't have that person, it's super tough. So I get it if that's your story as well. I think that it was good that it happened, and I'm glad that it happened now on this other side of it. I'm super glad that it happened now, because I would have been a mess. And imagine if that person had taken advantage of that, right? They would have manipulated me in so many different ways, right? And it could have gone so far left. So I'm grateful for God's grace in that, and understanding that that was a push that I needed to, one, find myself, and then two, actually most importantly, find God and who he called me to be, because I didn't know who that was in a lot of different ways. And so it started that healing journey for me, and I can't say that it's always just been up and up and up, but it has definitely helped me a lot into becoming who I am today.
So I would say, first, if you've been watching Bible and Banter from the jump, hey, to our OGs, right? You know that I've spoken about before, like, that I haven't been in a lot of relationships, and that I have spent more time single than I have with being with anyone. And so, of course, my worst breakup is really my only one that I only had this one relationship that really had substance anyways. So naturally that was my toughest breakup. But I feel like afterwards, what I learned the most from it, because I'm a really introspective person, and I try to reflect back on things, right? And so I felt like I realized about myself that I'm a sucker for chemistry and the warm fuzzy feeling, right? And so if I find that with somebody, then what I've learned is that I tend to ignore my own needs, because I don't want to lose that warm and fuzzy feeling. And so, and to the point where when I look back, I'm like, man, but I really wasn't happy beyond that, And so, and I realize now that as much as I say, before, when dating and it doesn't have much substance, like a red flag will pop up and I'm out of there. I'm like, okay, ghosting him or letting him know this can't go any further. But then when I start feeling like I actually have true feelings for someone, that's when I realize that the blinders come on for the red flags, or not even the blinders, but maybe the justification, right? Yeah. And let me look past that. And so now I'm realizing, like, and then I have this type of relationship with God where, like, if I ask him to reveal something to me, someone's true nature, someone's true heart, like, he'll do that even if it's super uncomfortable, right? Like, it hurts my feelings almost in a way because I didn't want to believe it, but he's like, all right, okay, you don't want to believe this about this person. All right, I'm gonna make sure it's painfully clear for you that this person really doesn't care as much as you think they do, or that you care for them, and it's really not reciprocated. And I'm going to show you, because I'm going to show you an action of theirs that you can't even look past it, right? So I guess, and then just in like, okay, but now that the breakup has happened, and what now? Honestly, I think the reflection is what helps me get past it, because I realized, like I said, like, you weren't even really happy. And then so then it's like, okay, so let's focus on the things that bring you joy. Let's focus. And for me, it's being creative. Like I said before, like, all of a sudden when I fix my gaze on him, right? Because I realize men are big distractions for me. Me too. Right, exactly. Which is why I need a healthy relationship, right? Yes. So, and someone who does push me and refocuses me when, you know, but anyways, whole different story. So anyway, so my thing was really, again, like, fixing my gaze back on God, which also realigned me with my purpose and my calling and all that he had for me, and just refocus me on, like we said, the things that God had me working on prior to that relationship, and going back to that and just receiving even more. And so really, I just got, I became more involved in my church at the time, and then just involved in my creative outlet and creating content and stuff. And so that really helped me. And then staying in my word so much that, like I said before, whenever the guy did come back to try to reignite something, I was so far past the mindset I was in when I was with him that it didn't trigger me to want to rush back into that relationship, because honestly, I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You brought up so many good points. I'm like, let me start with the first good one that you brought up. The first good one that I want to just extend, like, point B in what she was saying.
Exhibit B.
It's really good. One good thing that she was talking about was remembering the things that brought you joy. In a lot of ways, like Ashley was saying, she would kind of deflect from the red flag she was seeing within the relationship because she wanted that feeling, right? And we know, we've talked about this over and over again about chasing that feeling. And I think any of us can relate. Of course, like, anyone who has seen a movie, a Disney Channel movie specifically, of course we all want that fairy tale, beautiful story.
Or if you watch This Is Us, like us, you want your Jack moment where he just gives this beautiful speech to you.
You want that. You want the feeling of it. You want, of course, even like the hardest of the hardest girls, like, yeah, I'll kind of melt in that moment, right? And of course, that is totally possible, but here's the reality, all right? These are TV shows, curated content. So the reality is, no one's coming to save you. So I want to be the first one to be like, bloop, but now I'm going to lift you back up, okay? So no one's coming on their white horse to save you. You are the only one who can help you at this point, outside of Jesus Christ. I think that having that foundation of understanding, Lord, I don't understand why this happened to me, but I know in the long run, I'm going to understand. So where Ashley was coming from is, like, now she's in the long run part, where it's like, I didn't understand in that moment why this had to happen, but now I do. And so when that person does inevitably come back, because these men inevitably will come back, and that test will inevitably come back. I'm just letting you know that now. It's gonna happen. So when that happens, right, you don't want to be in the state of mind where you're thinking, oh, I need to go back to this person, because you are gonna find yourself back right here watching this video again, like, now what happened? So here's what we're gonna do to prevent that. One, I want you to understand, I know where you're at in this. I think that day 1, 2, 3, you gonna cry, girl. You gonna be sad, girl. You gonna wanna be mad. You gonna be mad. You gonna burn up everything.
Listen,
you wanna do all the things.
You
wanna get some ice cream. You gonna wanna scream at him. You're gonna wanna hug him. You know what I mean? You're just like so many different emotions. But I think don't wait until excitement. We don't support that. I do like the movie though. But
listen, you know, it might be time to light some
yeah.
No,
see, don't listen to that shit. It's the only time I'll tell you not to.
I'm on fire for Jesus.
Bye, Ashley. For me, I definitely had a lot of anger leaving that hard breakup, and I think it was even more so than that person. I think it's what that person was representing was rejection. That's something that I found that I really struggled with, and that went back further than this person could have ever even gone. Like, it goes back to just childhood trauma in my own life. And I didn't realize why I was taking it so hard and why I couldn't just get over it. And, you know, I did all the steps that I needed to take, and I still feel like I will never find somebody like this, or no one will ever want me, or yeah. And it leads you down a path where you make a lot of decisions out of low self-esteem or insecurity, which may not necessarily lead you to the right person, right? And so I found myself on that path. And I think that I made a lot of decisions that I can't take back, nor would I want to, because inevitably it led me to where I am today. But I would not do certain things if I could listen to someone like me on this video right now. And I want y'all to just kind of listen to both of our stories. I think that I like that both of ours come from different perspectives, because everyone here is unique and dynamic. I know that no one takes any of this lightly, and I know that everyone is different, but we do want everyone to understand that we know where you're coming from. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, and like, just speaking of like the type of emotions, how she said she was, you know, angry, found herself, you know, angry. For me, I found myself, it was a little, I don't know if it was anger for me as much as it was disappointment in myself. Just because, like I said, I have been single more than I've been in a relationship. And so my whole identity was kind of rooted in this like level of independence, right?
Gotcha.
And this level of, you know, I had already started my spiritual journey. And so this level of I'm already getting to wholeness and to independence. And so it was looking back and realize like, wow, like you really took a lot of shots in that relationship that you would have swore up and down that you'd have never let happen to you. Like listen, you know what I mean? And so it was just kind of looking back and realizing like that I too am more of a people pleaser than I thought I was. That I do have a level of, though I do, you know, my family would say I'm more of the bossy one because I like to take control of things. But however, in a relationship, I find that I actually take more of a submissive stance. And so I think it was looking back and being disappointed at the level of submission that I kind of allowed myself to fall into under bad leadership, right? Because I know, you know, and not only that, but, you know, not my husband, right? So, you know, there's still a level of vulnerability you should bring to a relationship, I believe. But it was just in that, just kind of really giving the wrong person all of the rights. You know what I mean? I can't really explain it. But so I think for me, it was just this level of disappointment of like, wow, like, and on top of that, like, I feel like God has given me the gift of discernment, and which is why my mind is always like going, and I'm so observative, because I'm really trying to find the true heart of someone, the purity. Like, I'm trying to find their intentions, their motives. And despite seeing some of the intentions or motives that should have been enough for me to walk away early on when it was less painful, because of the warm and fuzzies and the emotions, I looked past it. And you know what I mean? So I think for me, it was learning to give myself grace for having a learning moment and not looking at it as a moment of stupidity, right? So the devil thought he had us, right? Our battery died, but it ended like right at the end of one of our points. And so really the very last point that we just really wanted to really emphasize is just like, listen, whenever you first go through the breakup, and like it's okay to have your moment of just really like releasing your emotions, but just don't stay there. Right. That was the only point we want. Like really lean on your community, because what'll happen is your loneliness will start creeping up, right? And you'll have this desire to be booed up, right? And listen, all that means, when you're feeling lonely, that just means you desire companionship.
Yes.
So if find that friend that makes you laugh from your soul, like that, like laughter, I promise, like is so good for the soul. It's so healing. Like don't get that homegirl or the cousin that all they gonna do is y'all gonna sit and swap stories about trifling dudes. Like that's not gonna do nothing but continue to throw logs into the fire. Right? You need to get that person that's gonna take your mind off of that and get you back to who you were before you were with that person, who you were before you were, you know, the we come as a package deal, you know what I mean? And that just reminds you of like, you had joy, you had love, you had friendship before it. And don't feel bad. You know, if it's been a while, if you're that type that when you're booed up, you completely fall off the scene. You know, because if you have a true friend,
trying to call me
if you have a true friend, even when they disappear because they are booed
you know
up,
what? Listen,
you can always come back. You know, with open arms. You know, like
you know what? That's what she is me.
And then y'all start a YouTube video.
She's making some really good points. It's true. If you do have a friend, you have a friend for life, you know. And so if you are one of those people who, you know, you're that couple that you gotta
get that friend.
You are that friend. I understand your life. But one thing I will say, if you are that friend, his friends are not your friends. So let's just let that
That's a good point. Listen, before the battery died, maybe that's why the battery died.
I was like, no, somebody needed to hear that tonight. Put it down in the comments. No, I'm just kidding. Don't say that. Don't say that. But I know you know who you are. So his friends are not your friends. You don't want to keep up with his friends because then you know you're just trying to unknowingly keep up with him and keep tabs on him. But the thing is, it's never gonna work in your favor. Just trust me. I've lived the life. I've lived the life, made the mistakes for you, so you don't have to do it. So just believe me when I say it, okay? So the cool part about that is there's so many daggone people in the world, especially ones that love the Lord. Yeah. So find some of them. Find some women in your area who know the Lord, who love the Lord, who love you, and who are working to move in the direction that you're trying to move. And I promise you, friend, it's going to be okay. It will be eventually.
It definitely will be.
Yeah. It's not okay right now. Right. I get it.
Yeah. Growth is going to come from growth. Hopefully, don't keep repeating. Like when you look back, like pay attention to what
the signs, what kept on coming up, what was the problem that kept, like what is that negative emotion that kept on recurring and what was the cause of it. Right. That's your goal now, is to find that after you finish all of the crying and all that stuff. It's okay to grieve what was, but now you're moving on to what will be, and it's going to be so much better. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. But yes, if you can relate to either or of our stories, always feel free. Our Instagram information is going to be in the bio. Please feel free to DM us because we are a community. We are
a whole tribe. So
this is not us just speaking to you and there's no conversation coming back. We care to hear about your mental health as well.
Two-way communication.
Yeah, it's a conversation. We want, this is banter, so we all want to be in this community together. So feel free to reach out if you want. If you feel comfortable putting it in the comments, then put it in the comments. There's a whole community of women who are literally going through what you are going through as well. So we all in it together. But thank you so much for watching our video. Actually looked like you had something to say for watching our video. We'll be here again next Sunday with another real and relevant topic. We're talking about everything, ranging from friendships and relationships to careers and navigating corporate America as a Christian. We are talking about it all. But in the meantime and in between time, please, please, please remember that Jesus loves you. We love you. And you are more than enough. Bye.